Welcome back to the show, Extra Rich. On the menu today, we have Howard University. We have Howard's business is going to be the death of their school and their accreditation. All right, let's jump into it.
Howard is currently having a scandal right now because students cannot pay their tuition. And I'm making this video to address everybody who is badgering these students saying, oh, well, you shouldn't have gone to a university that you can't afford. You shouldn't have did this, blah, 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 blah. Because it's not about that. This is no longer about people not being able to pay their balances. This is about a school becoming more focused on money and their business rather than their students and academia. For the 24-25 school year, our tuition was over $50,000 a year. If we want to do some rough math, $50,000, more than $50,000, but we're just going to say $50,000 with 12,500 students. How much money is that every year in tuition? That's $625 million. And stay with me, our tuition is rising. $20,000 more. And it doesn't stop at tuition. Let's talk about revenue. How much revenue does Howard make every year? So let's account for 2023. How much did Howard make in revenue in the year 2023? $1.27 billion. Almost $1.3 billion. But these students who are struggling financially, who can't apply their payment plans, who can't apply their scholarships, who financial aid is not being posted, they have to pay their $20,000 balance now. They absolutely need to. And let's not mention the consequence of this. If you don't pay your balance is getting sent to collections. Not only do you lose your spot and you are not able to register for classes, your tuition's getting your unpaid bill is getting sent to collections. For all my people who are pissed.
So listen, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You have a choice whether or not to go to college, and part of me, I do have a heart. Part of me does feel bad for these young folks. I think the way that we go about college needs to change, right? I don't think someone who's 17, 18 should be, me personally, I don't think they truly register what they're really signing up for. When they sign up for these loans that are going to accumulate to hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases, and you're going to be paying on that for the rest of your natural life. I don't truly think a 17 or 18-year-old really processes that the way that they actually should. And so I think the way that we go about college should be different. But you signed up for it, so now you have to pay. That is the consequence of your action. You shouldn't have signed if you didn't want to pay. So for the people who already signed up, I mean, you just out of luck. For the people who haven't, I think we need to have, an intervention. And the way that I see college at this point, if you don't have a full ride scholarship, okay, or you're not going to be a doctor, a nurse, or lawyer, something where you absolutely have to go to college, you have no business going to college. And if you do go to college, you better go to a college that's down the street, right? You better go to a college that's down the street or a cheap online. The cheapest college possible is the college you should be going to. The cheapest. Stop trying to go to the Howards and, these big universities and things like that. Stop going. Because this is the thing. If you stop going, they would have to lower their prices. They would have to, one, fire some of their staff. So their prices are lowered, right? And once they realize, people aren't showing up anymore, we got to keep some revenue coming in. How do you get revenue coming back in? You start to lower that tuition cost until people start coming back in. It's really simple, but if y'all keep signing up for it because you want to go to a HBCU, Howard University, well, then you're going to keep paying a premium. So I don't want to hear any crying or, complaining about it because you signed up for it. You signed up for it. And now or anybody else knows, because I feel like this is a well-known topic now that college is way too expensive, right? Way, way, way too expensive. College cost is extremely bloated in my humble opinion. The cost of college needs to basically be cut in half, in my humble opinion, right? I think the cost is absolutely ridiculous. $50,000 a year to go to college, I think it's crazy. Crazy. But anyway, you signed up for it, so You just on your own.
Considering, and you are not able to register for classes, your tuition's getting your unpaid bill is getting sent to collections. For all my people who are considering coming to Howard this upcoming year, whether you're an incoming freshman, sophomore, junior, whatever, or even if you're in a graduate program, please reconsider. Absolutely weigh your pros and cons with other schools. If you can pay less and receive less stress by going anywhere else, go there. Follow the money. Go where the money is.
You shouldn't go where the money is. You should go where you spend the least amount of money, not where the money is. Because where the money is where the big universities are, and that's not where you should be going because you're going to be stuck with a huge bill for the rest of your life. But yeah, the college going to need their cash. They going to need their money right now. Pay up or get the boot. Pay up or get the boot. So I don't necessarily completely feel bad for these folks. I mean, there is a part of me that does a little bit because, like I said, 17, 18, you signing up for this stuff, and the way that our society kind of was before, you got to go to college. Now I feel like that's changing a little bit. I don't think it's where it should be. I think a lot more people should be getting into the trades, right? Plumbers make a good living, make a real good living. Electricians, bro, what? Electricians make a real good living. To wire up a house, oh boy, you can have a fat stack of cash right there. Nice little fat stack. More people should be getting into the trades rather than going to these different colleges. And I came across the video, I don't know, it was probably last week or week before last, of a guy who was talking about the trades and how the age of these people that are working in the trades is increasing, right? The age is rising because there's not many younger folks that are coming in. So there's a huge gap there to be filled. If some of these young folks want to make a good living, get into the trades. There's a major gap. The people in trades are getting older, and once they, are done, retired, who's going to be able to fix this stuff? Got to have somebody. I'm just saying. And if you're the guy in your area, if you're the person everybody calls, guess what? Because that's what everybody wants at the end of the day. Dollars and cents. It don't make sense to me, man. It don't make sense. Why nobody wants to get into the trades? But hey, that's just, y'all let me know what y'all think, though.
It's not Howard University. And it's not the families and students. It's Trump's big, beautiful bill. There's a lot of banter going back and forth because you have students at Howard University opening up GoFundMe pages and accounts, and they're asking for assistance. They're being accused of mismanaging their money, and you have others who are blaming Howard University for being, doing a big money grab, and it's neither one of them. It's Trump's big, beautiful bill, which has made 3 major changes that will now make it almost impossible for working class families to be able to afford to send their children off to school to get a 4-year degree. Okay, the first thing, if your child will be attending school part-time, they may not even qualify for a Pell Grant. When you fill out that FAFSA application, and you have to fill it out, once you fill it out on that application, once it comes back, it tells you how much you qualify for in aid. If your child is attending part-time, they may not even get any. Okay, the second thing.
I'm not mad at that. Go full-time. Why you going part-time? Carry on.
Student loans. There was a time when you would see how much financial aid you received, and whatever financial aid you received, you would then look and say, okay, let me take out a student loan to cover the balance. Now there's a cap put on student loans, so you may not even be able to get the full amount to cover the tuition. Okay, so between the...
That is a great thing. That is a phenomenally great thing. Actually, that's probably the answer to the equation. Putting a cap on how much student loans you can actually take out. Putting a cap on it. The rest, either you get some kind of grant or you go to work. But there's going to be a cap on these student loans because too many students are walking out of these universities with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt that they will never pay off. Because one, they're getting degrees that mean absolutely nothing. That aren't worth the paper that they're printed on, right? So, hey, I completely agree with bro. She's stating this stuff as if it's like a terrible thing. This is fantastic. People who are 18 shouldn't be allowed to sign the rest of their life away. Like, I think that's crazy. 17, 18. And I know 18 is technically considered an adult, but you're still young and you don't understand, right, that you're going to be paying on that for the rest of your life when you start accumulating these loans that are hundreds of thousands of dollars. But that's just my humble opinion. What's yours? Let me know.
Pell Grant and the student loan, you still may have an outstanding balance that you have to pay out of pocket for. That's the second thing. The third thing is if you're looking to pursue a graduate degree and you're going to need to take out a loan to do that, there are no more loans for graduate school. Those are the three major changes
I ain't too mad at
Trump's
that.
Big Beautiful Bill that impact working class families primarily, and worse, Black working class families and their children who want to go out to an HBCU. Because
no, you shouldn't. You don't need. That's the problem. That's the problem. These folks are glorifying the university rather than simply the education. Doesn't matter that you went to an HBCU. I don't give a darn. I couldn't care any less. That's part of the issue. Y'all care about the name of the university and not the education. Get the education. Care more about the education than you do the university. That's y'all problem. Oh, I gotta go to the HBCU. You ain't got HBCU money. You got champagne taste with beer cash. I'm just saying, it is what it is. Now, your job is to make sure the people coming behind you ain't got to make that same choice. And you know how you do that? By not strapping yourself to hundreds of thousands of dollars of loans. You know how you do that? By going to a local university and getting whatever education it is that you need in order to get that good job that you want, so that you can provide for the people that are coming behind you and make sure that they don't have to make the same decision that you did. But people are going to call me crazy, though. You know, I don't think this is overly complicated. People got champagne taste with beer money. They trying to go to universities that are way too expensive for their pockets simply because of the name and not the education. And I love what if this is true, I love these changes. I love them. Putting a cap on how much student loans you can take out? Absolutely. Making sure, hey, if you ain't got enough, you got to pay out of pocket. I love it. Absolutely love it. But hey, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions about all of this. Do you think this is a good idea? Bad idea? And if you don't think this is a great idea, or even if you do think it's a good idea, what things can we do to fix this problem? Because I do believe it is a problem. It is a major problem. I've seen way too many people leaving these universities with loans that I'm like, yeah, you're going to be paying that for the rest of your life. Because that job you're going to get with that degree ain't going to pay you SHIT. Okay? Ain't going to pay you a darn thing. And you just you got $90,000 in loans. Y'all get in the comments, man. Let me know your thoughts. Stay safe. Peace.